So in July 2013, I came up as a negative man, HIV negative man, who is taking PrEP, which is a pre-exposure prophylactic. The pill that I'm taking is called Truvada. Why I'm vocal about it? Because Truvada will help you stay negative if you take it every day and you don't skip a dose. It's been proven. Every research is just coming out now for I think 2 years, provided with the same proof. And the research was taken actually on the really people with the risky behavior, on drug addicts that using needles, on prostitutes, on people that are having HIV positive partners, and obviously those who do not practice safe sex. The whole problem is that condoms, condoms that we thought is the only, and they were for a long time, the only one protective tool against HIV is not working. At least it's not working any longer because young people do not use them. I think because they didn't see people dying, because people are not really dying these days in the United States or Europe, and just living with HIV virus, which is under control. So there are very high rates of new infections. So HIV transmission is on the rise. People do not use condoms. Now, we cannot make them use condoms, but obviously it's a very attractive proposition to use a pill, which by some researchers are saying is safer than condom. Condom is given 98%, I think, and lots of researchers are giving 99% to PrEP. So I believe that if every sexually active gay man will take PrEP, they will have no HIV infections at all. So that is why I'm so vocal about it. I'm all for condoms, but the reality is, and I'm a realistic person, people don't use condoms. People don't use condoms, particularly young people. And I wrote in the article in Out magazine, I gave the statistics that if the rate of infections will go the way it's going now, then 50% of young people will be HIV positive by the age of 50. 50% of young people, the college age kids that are growing up now, gay kids, will be HIV positive by the age of 50.
There seems to be this disconnect that people aren't taking them and aren't using condoms, but they can't talk about it. It's seen as a moral failure when people don't use condoms because it's been drilled into our heads. Do you think that's part of the reason? Like people can't fess up to the fact that they're not using condoms? They cannot fess up. They cannot be open about the fact that they're not using condoms. Do you think there's a moral judgment?
Well, if there is a moral judgment when it comes to not using condoms, I actually think by some people, but young people do not talk about it, or do talk about it. I know a lot of them do talk about it and very open about, hey, I don't like condoms. I hear it a lot from young people, a lot.
And for you as well, you've decided you don't want to use condoms, or that's not as possible?
I'm a human being. I did sleep several times. And I did worry because I am a very responsible person when it comes to my health. So I did go on post-exposure prophylactic, which is much more difficult. I never had any side effects when I was taking PrEP, but I did have side effects when I was taking post-exposure. So I decided that I will feel much better. I was kind of thinking, all right, well, what will be more harming for my health? Because there are side effects when you take any pill. Being very stressed out and nervous about getting HIV, or taking that pill. And my decision was I'd rather take this pill, but I will not be worried constantly, because people of my generation, I'm 42 years old, we, for all our adult lives, were worried about getting HIV. And a lot of us did get it. And we lived in fear all the time. This pill allows me not to live in fear any longer, and this is a very liberating experience.
Have you called it a slip, but have you not used condoms and subsequently tested negative?
Several times I did not use condom in my life. It happened several times, and every time when it happened, I took post-exposure, which is several pills for 28 days. So I never got HIV, so I am negative. But I was always worried when I would not use a condom. But in certain situations it was wrong, but it happened just, I think, like it happened with everyone. Everyone at some point in their, well, most of the people at some point of their life slipped. And we cannot be responsible also for another person. We cannot be 100% say that our boyfriends, husbands, lovers are 100% faithful. We don't know 100%.
And I mean, wrong is such a pejorative term. Like, you had an experience. I don't know if it's right or wrong, but since taking PrEPs, have you slipped? Or you call it slips? Since taking PrEPs, have you had condomless sex and subsequently tested negative? Like,
I did have unprotected sex as much as I did have before. It's no more, it's no less. But I'm not worried about it any longer. That's what it is. Yeah, since I got tested negative after that a lot of times, because as I said, people who are taking PrEP are very responsible people. If you're taking PrEP, it means you know yourself very well. It means you do recognize that you can sleep, and you did sleep in the past. And it does mean that you are taking care of your health, and you're very responsible when it comes to your health and health of your partners.
Now, the big question that I'm wondering is, why doesn't everyone know about this? Because, like, within the gay community, I can ask about it. In Canada, it's not legal yet, but why?
It is very unfortunate that there is not enough promotion about when it comes to PrEP, because, news stay in the news for a day. So when the research was over, it was on the front page of New York Times. That was about 2 years ago. And it was all over the place, but news on the news for one day. So then what should have happened is that it should have been billboards. But whether it is because there are people that are opposed to it because the way they did business before, and they just cannot let it go, and they believe that, for wrong reason, believe that it will send a wrong signal, which is not right, because
Who are these people when you're talking about of doing business? Do you mean the AIDS prevention people, or Gilead, or?
You know what? It might be. I think that it's difficult for me to say. Who is saying that? I think that in AIDS prevention and in gay establishment, I think there are people. I know there are people who oppose the PrEP, which is the same thing. For example, when I was interviewed, I was interviewed by Huffington Post, and the interviewer was challenging me with that. And I told him, I said, listen, when we came up with pills, with the pregnancy control pills, a lot of people were saying that women will behave irresponsibly now. And we're talking about the morals. And right now it sounds completely idiotic, because these are very important pills. Women who are not taking them, they are not getting pregnant, and that's the most important thing. So it's not about the morals. It's about finally we have the pill that can save people from getting from becoming zero converted. And that is so important. So what is coming up now is that you will see lots of campaigns and magazines on the website everywhere, this promotions of PrEP. You will see a lot of it. It's a question of several months.
Who will be doing the promotion? Because Gilead, although they've given free pills for some trials, they're not going forward with promotion.
Gilead will not, because they really don't need to do that. They really don't need. The investment that they think that they will undertake will be greater than return. So it has to be done by gay community. It has to be done by gay community. The pill is there, gay community has to promote. So, I can tell you that I know about 15 people that are on PrEP. And half a year ago, I didn't know them. So today, I know about 15 people.
And what's their experience been? Have they had the side effects? Because it can affect liver functioning or bone density, but has anyone reported any ill effects to you of these 15 people?
I never heard anybody with visible side effects. Now, everyone who is on PrEP, on Truvada, has to go and get their blood test every 3 months, which is also a very responsible thing to do. And I have no problem going to the doctor once, I think 3 or 4 months, and getting my blood test. That's fine. Again, that's a choice to be paranoid about becoming zero converted, or taking the pill. And every pill has side effects. Every pill that you that you are taking has a list of side effects. Pharmaceutical companies have to list them to cover their ass. So
it's expensive though. Like, not everyone can afford it. Should it be more accessible?
More people will be taking it. More affordable this pill will become. Now, right now, it is very expensive, and it's free for people who have medical insurance. And so I get it for free. So because of medical insurance that I have, my whole office is covered with medical insurance. Have a medical coverage. And I think that Gilead is providing certain amount of months of free. They give certain amount of time, they give you pills for free. More people will be using it, faster the prices will fall. I don't know if it will be covered by Obamacare. I hope it will, because it is so important. We will spend less money on treating people with HIV and AIDS if we will be taking than money on Truvada. I mean, I think it should be a free pill because it's such an important pill.
I'm really afraid of this story. Like, I'm afraid of, like, we're working on the story and we're doing a big story on it. Mm-hmm. I'm really afraid if we get it wrong. Like there are studies, and Dr. Grant has talked about the 99%, but other people have shown, like, adherence rates are low, so it's only 34%. Like, are you afraid of, like, being a spokesperson for this?
I'm not a spokesperson for Truvada. I'm giving you my opinion, and I don't want anyone to take my word for it. I think that everyone has to do research and make up their mind. I am in no way a spokesperson for that, and I'm giving my opinion based on my own experience and experience of other people. I tell what I do. I'm taking this pill. My thinking was, if I get HIV, I will be married to the cocktail of, for now, 3 pills. It's called triplet. In some cases, people have to take more. And you have no choice. Now, if I'm taking Truvada, I have a choice. If I'm sexually active, now I'm taking it. If at some point in my life I will have side effects or I will not be sexually active, I can stop it. So I have a choice versus not having a choice. So that was my decision. But I'm not a spokesperson. I am just sharing my opinion, and I believe that my opinion is that I believe it's the right choice. That's why I made it.
And like, I think if this happened 10 years ago, people would be shouting from the rooftops, but everyone's become so complacent and kind of accepted AIDS as a fact of life. Do you think that's what's happened? Or?
I think that there's a major factor that if in 1980s people were dying basically in the streets in San Francisco, I saw documentaries when we could see processions of wheelchairs and very ill people walking with their less ill partners, could barely walk. It was absolutely awful, and everyone saw those images. Today, we don't see any of that. Today, San Francisco, Castro, New York is nothing of that any longer. So I think that that's a reason why. Well, first, people don't use condoms, and secondly, why people are not rushing to take Truvada. Though again, another thing I want to tell you about Truvada, condoms are very often just not in your pocket. And gay men find themselves in a situation where, because for gay men it's very easy to get sex any day, any point of time. Very often it happens, so lube is not available, condom is not available. If you are on this pill, and you're taking it every day responsibly, then you're fine.